My name is Ashley Davo, and I have been a client advocate for the Journey with Hope program at Hope Life Center for about 4 years now. And I'd like to just walk you through kind of my story, what my personal journey was with the choice to carry, and kind of how I ended up at Hope Life Center and how God has worked throughout my life to put me in the position of being a client advocate today. So we're going to flash back to when Ashley was 27 and much younger. And I had recently taken a job promotion, moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, mind you, I'm from Tomahawk, so this is a very big life change. I was really excited about this new career. I had just started a new relationship. I moved away from my entire family and was living in an apartment about 1 month into my new career. I find out I am pregnant, and those of the people who knew me at that time knew I was never going to have children. I was going to be just continue to focus on my career and move up in life, and this was not part of my plan, but apparently it was part of God's plan. So I'm questioning everything that is happening in my life at this point. I don't have my family around me. I don't know how I'm going to financially support this child. I never wanted children. Was I going to get to keep my job under a probationary period? I had just started. Are they going to keep me? Am I going to be a single mom? I just met this guy. And I sat there and in a lot of quiet and all alone and thought my only option at this point was to have an abortion. I sit there and cry at home, and I Google abortion clinics. I show up to an abortion clinic in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where I'm greeted with hateful speech, shame, guilt, a lot of harshness, and was told that I was a baby killer, a murderer, I'm going to go to hell, and it was awful. I walk into a very cold, sterile room with metal fold-out chairs, a glass window, and a bunch of other women sitting there waiting to be called up. I get my appointment. I show up to the room. They said, we just have to confirm your pregnancy at this point, and then we'll walk you through next steps. They asked me if I want to see the ultrasound and the baby on the screen, and I can't bring myself to look at it. I continue to go through as they take pictures, and she said, you have one last opportunity to see the baby if you'd like. And at this point, God shows up, and I look at that screen, and I realize that I don't know that I can go through with this. I took the abortion pills that they prescribed me home that night, and I proceeded to cry and just call out to God to know, like, what am I supposed to do? I just know that I can't do this. I call my mom, who shows up. I have a wonderful family, so it's great. She shows up, and she's like, honey, God wants you to have this baby, and you're going to be okay. So I choose to carry. I was blessed with my beautiful, almost 11-year-old little girl at this point. And as my journey continues, I meet my wonderful husband, who is here with me today. I now have 3 children. Who knew when I thought I was going to have 0 that God was going to bless me with 3. And I tell him I'm not raising babies in Milwaukee, so we're heading home. So we end up in Wausau, Wisconsin, and I end up becoming very active in the church. So my faith background was pretty minimal up until this point. I'd gone to youth group on and off, but my relationship with God just continued to grow. I had this miracle that God had given me. I had this amazing God-fearing husband and all of these children, and we became part of Christ Community Church in Wausau. So here comes God again. I am sitting there with my husband with many late nights talking to him about how I could serve the Lord better as my relationship in Christ continued to grow. And I said, I feel compelled to talk to my pastor about how I can best serve. And in that, I met with Pastor Wild, and he proceeded to tell me that there were a bunch of different opportunities at the church. I brought up Bridge Street Mission, we had talked about Awana's youth group, etc. And he said, have you ever heard of Hope? And I said, no, I have not heard of Hope Life Center. I'm not sure what that is. And he says, I don't know. I just think there's a reason you should explore this. Now, to this day, I don't know that he knows this story of how I ended up almost being one of these women who felt alone and nervous and scared and thought I had no options. So ironically, God shows up in that room. I end up meeting with Jackie and Christina and Mary and a bunch of people, and I realized that I could be the reason that these women don't feel like there are no options, and that I could serve the Lord in this manner to tell them that it's going to be okay, and that God's going to show up, and there are plenty of resources out there for you to choose to carry this child, and to just be an ear to listen to these women who are going through the nervousness of pregnancy. Sometimes it's unexpected. It's not always, but it's nerve-wracking. Everybody gets that giant book, What to Expect When You're Expecting, and I don't know who can read that when they're sleeping in the first trimester, but that we have so many other resources that are phenomenal. So I get to explore. I learn about the program, And the Journey with Hope program essentially is all of these educational resources that provide women with how God is working in their life and what's happening to their body and what is normal and how God's given you this beautiful gift. And we get to pray with clients, we get to provide resources and education to them. And all the while that we're having these meetings, they get to earn money towards our boutique, which is a lot of donations from all of you wonderful people, to get diapers and to provide the necessities for their children, to get cribs and to get car seats. Along with that, we provide resources on like birthing classes and different outlets that they can reach out to when they have questions, housing. So you get a lot of opportunity to meet with these women who sometimes feel like there isn't an option, and to let them know that God is with them and it's going to absolutely be okay. So you then get to see these. Then the best part of this all is those babies come in at some point. Usually the moms are coming in with their little ones, and they're so proud and they're glowing, and what they thought they couldn't do or what they were nervous to do, they have this little miracle with them. And you get to just watch them be so glad that they made the choice to carry that baby, much like I was very glad that I have my little girl now. So you'll run into them in the future, sometimes out in the community, and they'll say, "It's even better, Ashley, you told me. Like, I didn't think that this was going to happen, and then I got a promotion, and oh, my last time I met this man," and all these things end up happening, and it's so rewarding to watch just God unfold in these women's lives and to be an ear for them to listen. So, not you don't have to have a story, just to be clear, to be an advocate for Hope Life Center. There are plenty of women who just want somebody to listen to them. There's plenty of opportunities if you're a great listener or you're somebody who is really great with prayer or gospel or preaching the word. There's plenty of ways to show up. So if you have that feeling in your heart or you feel like you might be able to serve in this ministry, I highly encourage you to do so. It's a wonderful team. I have so many stories to tell you that are amazing. And you can reach out to Justin, Jackie, Christina to get more information if needed. But again, we do need more client advocates. I believe it's a wonderful program that I wish I would have had more exposure to back then. And if you have any questions, reach out to them after this.